Hello everybody and welcome to another Planet X review. With TFCON just around the corner, I'm lucky enough to be taking a quick early look at the TFCON exclusive from Planet X. This is the PX-06 G2 VULCUN. Everybody seems to be getting on that G2 bandwagon at the moment. Don't get me wrong, I am a huge fan of Generation 2. I was born in the 80s, so my main collecting was in the early 90s. And in the UK, especially in stores like Woolworths, G2 is pretty much all we had. VULCUN is, of course, the Planet X take on Grimlock, based on his Fall of Cybertron appearance. So, quick look at the box. We've got our basic Dino kind of parts and parcels all the way around. And here we have him out of his box. Absolutely adore the blue that they've used, incredibly vibrant. I don't actually own any G2 dinos. I wanted to get on that Fans Toys G2 dino train, but I'm a little bit late to that party now, and the aftermarket price on Fans Toys dinos is ridiculous. People moaned about the MP44 being expensive, but I've seen the dinos from Fans Toys go for easily that, which is a shame. I was kind of hoping Giga would do their dinos in the G2 colour scheme as well, but I don't personally think that's going to be a thing. So I'm happy that maybe Planet X are going to step on that train, because Grimlock himself looks sublime. I'm glad they went for that blue. I think there was various different versions of G2. I believe Mexico, for example, had slightly different variations in colour. Forgive me if I'm wrong here, I believe it was Slag or Snar, one of the two. Things were slightly different with the paint applications, etc. Red was green and green was red. But Grimlock himself looking pretty sweet. Now, was this the third variation of colour for Grimlock? We had the standard release, then we had that kind of Fire Guts colour, where he was done in the kind of red, and then we've got this very kind of bold, piercing blue, very reminiscent of his G2 counterpart. I love the fact we've still got these dark, detailed sections around the back, so the highlighting isn't lost. It's just a nice big bot. If you haven't had Planet X Dinobot before now, they're made of a fairly solid plastic. Not, I wouldn't say on par with some of the more recent kind of masterpiece designed figures. Very good piece nonetheless. Definitely leaps and bounds better than the Hasbro Fall of Cybertron, War for Cybertron range. Not the same sort of plastic consistency we get from Planet X when they deliver their kind of masterpiece style figures like the Deathosaurus, for example. So there are kind of steps on that ladder, and this is up there, but it's definitely not top rung. Absolutely adore the contrast on that head as well. It's very garish. It's like they thought, how can we burn people's eyes with colours? And that's how G2 was invented. I imagine all the Hasbro ideas team were all on acid. That's probably not true. I know there's definitely at least one other manufacturer giving us a G2 style figure at TFCON, that being MMC with their luminous Mirage. But as far as subtlety goes, Grimlock's far more pleasant on the palette, easy on the eye. He comes with his basic accessories. He comes with his big sword, and of course that amazingly huge chunk of a shield that he wields in Fall of Cybertron. They never did for the War for Cybertron remastered, did they? And I think Acclaim have now lost the license, so they've had to kind of withdraw the games from the marketplace, which was such a shame. I still have Fall of Cybertron, got the digitally remastered version. A great game, but I wish we'd have had things like War for Cybertron done in the same style. As far as scale goes, this is the Bumblebee Studio Series Voyager Prime. So he's a good, solid figure. I don't have any of the War for Cybertron or Fall of Cybertron line anymore. I actually sold them when we had to move back from Canada. They helped pay for like the whole move. Just sold off loads and loads and loads of figures. So I am glad that they're redoing these, because I do love the Planet X line. They're good, fun figures. So hopefully I'll be able to pick up these when they hit different conventions, etc. With them being this kind of vibrant G2 colour, I don't really feel obliged to have to go out and get all of the Fall of Cybertron line. I can just have these kind of standalone garish shelf. If this is your first time viewing Planet X Grimlock, I will include a little link up here to the Planet X playlist. Just hit on that information button. But he's pretty jam-packed with articulation, albeit slightly outdated now considering what some of the other companies are doing, but it's still enough to work. We have to remember this is a big sluggish Dinobot. He's not an agile ninja, so there's enough there to get some striking poses. And I must admit, having the legs and the arms, etc., highlighted in this blue with the gold accents actually makes some of these moves look a lot better, and the actual motion seems to pop a lot more. Articulation wise, let's bring these legs in. We have motion on the arms there. We can bring the shoulder up and ratchet that in. It's on a deep joint there, so we can get kind of butterfly action going on. There is a bend on the arm and a secondary bend, so we can get a nice curl up on there. We get rotation on the wrist, and we get pinned fingers, so they can open and close. The waist rotates quite nicely. The head, albeit limited and tight, can look up and down, and we can tilt left and right. Just a very stiff joint on there. I do love the contradiction, kind of the contrast between this pastely paint and these translucent sections as well. The legs can come forwards and backwards, out to the side. There is an upper thigh rotation in there. You do have a bend on the knee, ratcheted, and not as much depth there as I would like. We do have these backs of the legs which do hinder that section. Unfortunately, the knee pads can move forwards and backwards, and we get tilt on those toes, as well as a retractable heel spur as well. So we can tilt and lean forward. There's that nice motion going in there. But all of this back piece here is kind of superficial, doesn't really do anything. So from here, as gorgeous as he looks, let's get him transformed up. We have a cap on the end of the sword, so we can kind of close that off, make it look one complete piece. But the idea is to undo said cap and slide the sword out of the hands, because it's kind of a gripping section in there which holds everything into place. So starting off with his feet, bring these heel spur sections down, and you want to untab these leg pieces. They're just going to lift up, bring these down, bring this down, and this is going to come up for now, just so he's kind of in this squatting seated position. Now let's come around to these hands. You want to get those arms nice and straight, get that arm nice and straight so that these kind of go back in to these joints. Close off these fists and open up the hands, bringing this up, over and around, giving him full-on dino claws. So again, open up, bring that down, and push and conceal the hands back. Rotate these arms 180 degrees, so they're coming around all the way to the front like so. Bending up this section to an angle, this is going to come all the way forwards and round to the front of those knees. Push on these shoulder tabs, which allows this chest piece to come out. This is then going to come forward enough to then drop down on to this front. So we're left with this really kind of oblong neck. This piece here acts as a tab. Just untab this section so it drops down, and these are going to open up, and this entire back panel piece, now that it's all open, you want to rotate that all the way around on this hinge like so, and then with these arms straight, this will then come up, bring your little dino arms back up as well. These sit at the front like so. The neck is going to come up like that, and then this is on a rocking hinge. This will come all the way up, and that's going to tab in on the underside of the neck like so. These arms can then be brought down and brought down, and you can see they are now going to form the legs. Bring his little dino arms down as well. This little piece here, that's going to come up, and that is on a ball hinge, so we're going to rotate that around, and as we rotate it around, that's going to feed through. And what we've got on the other side, this whole section here is going to flip, so let's flip that around. There we go, like so. And then using this double hinge, like so, feed that back, and this is going to rock down. There's this hinge here, that's going to sit on this lip, and there's a tab just underneath here, that's going to sit on there, like so, and then these are going to tab together and then push and lock that all in. The tail is captured within, so that's all going to come up, and with these fully extended, bring them around. That's going to form the bottom, this is going to form the top, and these are just going to slide and peg in. It's a matter of lining everything up properly. There we go. There we go. That's the tail section all done and fully articulated. And then all I've done with this side is I've rocked the hinge up for the leg so that it's fully extended, and then slid the shoulder hinge up as well, like that. So we've got nice long legs on Grimlock now. And then we have Grimmy all kind of transformed up. We can just put some slope on his legs there to bring those back. Look at that. That's not bad, is it? I definitely prefer his bot mode. I don't think Dino mode looks as good as bot mode does with the G2 colours, but it's not bad. We've got thrusters on the back there, hidden away above the tail. We've got that swishing action on the tail. We do have the extension on here. We can do the opposite to the legs. You can retract them if you want to have them stumpier, like you do with the arms. It's just a matter of untabbing this piece here, bringing this down, and then sliding his legs back up, and then bringing this back up, etc. to the top. It's entirely up to yourselves what you want to do with it. We do have heel spur, have the two toes. At the front there we have these ball mounted arms with a bend on the elbow, albeit very, very tight. Rotation on the head. Neck wants to lock into place. We have rotation on the upper neck piece. We have rotation on the head. It does slide out and slide back in. We have the jaws that open. We have the movable gun, kind of flamethrower on the inside. And so there's a lot going on with Grimlock. It doesn't necessarily tab in as well as I would like, but at the same time it suffices. It does what it needs to. And as a result, I have a big blue dinosaur to add to my collection. It's not a bad looking bot at all, is he? The only downside to the kind of Fall of Cybertron Grimlock with his really big head, kind of reminds me very much of that kind of stomp and chomp sort of style. There's a toy out there at the moment, I can't think what it is, but it's a kind of big headed T-Rex and it eats eggs. And you get like surprise toys at the end of it. It kind of really reminds me of that style of big, huge, oversized dino head. But all in all, it's not a bad figure, is it? It's a good looking piece, and I personally am very much looking forward to having the rest of the dinos done in the G2 style, but I will be displaying mine in their robot modes. For those of you that cannot attend TFCON, I believe Robot Kingdom will be stocking these, and I believe they'll be made available after the event, so we'll include a link in the description below, which should just take you through to pre-orders. And for those of you who are attending, make sure you get a hold of one of these, have a big mess around with it, and let me know what you think in the comments section below. Until next time, from myself and the Planet X G2 Grimlock, goodbye.